Hey folks, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking another look at kitchen knives, this time from Daw Strong again. A while ago you saw this utility knife that I reviewed for Daw Strong. This is the Gladiator Series utility knife that they've got. Great little knife. I've also reviewed this knife, the 8-inch chef's knife. This is part of their Shogun series, with a super steel at the core at a super price. It's available in many Amazon stores around the world, certainly Amazon USA and Amazon Canada, and a whole bunch of others, and I'll have links down below for some of those. Why am I showing you these? Because it's almost Christmas time, and nobody like Daw Strong does a presentation package for their knife as well. But that's not a good enough reason to buy the knife. Just because a company does a great packaging, that gives you a really good feeling when you open the package. But if the knife inside doesn't live up to the hype, it's useless. Daw Strong, especially their Shogun series, lives up to the hype, because I have tested their knives. This knife that we're looking at today is also a style that has become popular, and I want to show it to you. When you open the package, you get your nice sleeve on the outside. You've got this. You open the package, it's got little magnetic holders to hold it open. Inside, you've got a opinion card. Happy, not happy. If you're not satisfied, they tell you how to contact them, and they will make you satisfied. They give you a nice little pin. And actually, a lot of chefs wear the pin on their chef's coat to show, the knife that they use. Because if they're not proud of their knives, they're not going to use a knife. They're going to get a knife that they can be proud of. What else is in here? They give you a little VIP package, a membership. They give you a nice little microfiber cloth, and sometimes that's a good thing to wipe off some fingerprint marks. And then they give you an extensive booklet, so that you can see information about how they're made, how to sharpen the knife by hand, and a number of their other knives that they have. Everything from cleavers to steak knives, and everything in between. And finally, what you've all been waiting for is the knife itself. The sheath is in the style of a classic Japanese sheath. I didn't know this before, and it took me long enough to figure this out. This little pin system that they use is a traditional thin wooden, often bamboo sheath system that the Japanese use. And a little string and pin, and it holds it on there. This is great for carrying around the knife, or for storage, or for when you're moving, or for all kinds of uses. This is BPA free, totally safe, and it's a nice light, strong sheath. It goes over, and then the pin goes in the back here, and then now the sheath doesn't come off, holds it in there. But it's just a good sheath. There's even holes at the end there, so that if there is any moisture on here, and hopefully there isn't, it can dry out. But it is a good stainless steel. This is actually Damascus. But on the core, you've got a central layer, which is the cutting edge. And then you've got 66 layers of 410 steel on the outside, and nice Damascus setup. I like that it's understated, and I'll show you a close-up of this in just a minute. And then at the core, what do we have? We've got AUS 10V. It's a fairly new super steel, Rockwell hardness of 62, and that's how they can make it come very thin and very sharp angle for cutting with this knife. This style has become very popular for use sort of as a do-everything in the kitchen kind of style blade. You can cut vegetables, you can cut fruit, you can cut meat with this. So that's pretty much everything, right? Yeah. So let's put this on the tabletop and take a good close look at what Daw Strong has for their 7-inch Shogun series Santoku knife. And hopefully I pronounced that almost somewhere in the neighborhood of how it's supposed to be pronounced. Keep watching. I'm going to show you a little video later on cutting some fruits and vegetables, but here's a 1/2-inch rope. Cuts through so easily. Hardly any effort required at all. Yes, Daw Strong did send this knife to me at my request. They didn't contact me. I contacted them and I asked if I could review some of their products. Because I had watched a number of reviews from other reviewers and I was convinced before touching my first one that this is going to be a great company. They've got a number of lines of products. So everything from, this is their higher end stuff, the Shogun series with their AUS 10V steel. They've got other knives for people that are on a tighter budget, like the Gladiator series. And everything from their lowest budget series comes in that really nice packaging. So it's great for gift giving, especially this time of year, coming up on Christmas. If you've got someone in your life and you don't know what to get them, consider getting them a good, high quality Daw Strong chef's knife or kitchen knife or utility knife or sandwich knife. They've got so many different styles of knives. And, almost any price range, you'll find something. What do we have here? What we have in this style of knife, the Santoku, is it's a style of knife that's got a slow radius belly, and then it comes down and has sort of a drop down here on the end, like a sheep's foot kind of knife. For those of you who know other knives, and most of you do if you're watching my channel. And then you've got these divots that they have put into the steel here. Now these divots look like they've been milled out. They don't look like they've been pressed in. It looks like they've got a wheel of some sort and then taken out some of that steel. Let's see if I can get a good close-up picture of it. I'm constantly fighting with getting good lighting. It's a little bit hard to tell, but there you go. You can see that, and you can see the understated Damascus. In the picture that you saw on the cover, it was quite dramatic, but on their knives themselves, when you see it, it's not super dramatic, and I like that. It just looks really, really nice. You can see right here, there's a line right there, and that's where you get to the core piece of steel. That's the AUS 10V right there. And it's nice and thin, all steel all the way through to the end. There's that front bolster and then this tail bolster. And here they've got their lion logo. Let's see if I can get it in the focus range. Etched into the back there. That looks really nice. They've got that same logo etched in right there. And it's actually a really good spot right there because if you're really choking up, you put your thumb there and it gives you just that little bit extra grip. I'm sure that's not why it's there, but it's just one of the benefits. And then the name right here, Daw Strong Shogun Series AUS 10V Japanese Super Steel. And it is a nice Japanese steel indeed. You've got a wonderful G10 here, premium G10. Not the fake stuff that some companies use, but it's the authentic G10. You've got 2 pins holding it through, and then you've got this mosaic pin here, which is just beautiful. It just helps add to the beauty of the knife, and it's really, really nice. And the blade handle, or the handle, is flat on the sides, so when you're holding it, you just instinctively know exactly where the cutting edge is because it's flat on the sides. And it's just ever so slightly rounded at the back. Like it's mostly sort of flat, but the edges are rounded. And then on the belly here, it's thinner and then it comes thicker and then it comes back thin and then the end. And then of course here it drops down to a sharp heel. I don't like knives that I usually don't like knives that are thick at the heel here. And I'll talk about that on some other video sometime. I really like it when they go thin right to the end right there. So this style knife personally I find very, very appealing. And that's the overview of its looks. Now, before I talk about the specs, let me show you the video where I'm actually using the knife. Okay, we haven't got a lot of stuff in the house right now. My wife's got to do some more shopping tonight, so we'll just see what we've got. Carrot. Yeah, I'm supposed to pull my fingers back, right? I'm rubbish for cutting food. I just haven't done an awful lot of it. Largely because with my knees I can't stand very long. Can you imagine how difficult it is to sit on a stool next to a kitchen counter where you can't put your feet underneath to cut stuff? Yeah, I've done that for years. It's not that easy. Very, very smooth cut. Very, very clean cut. And now let's see. I'm no good at this, but let's see what we can do with cucumbers. That's a fresh cucumber. When it gets through, it gets through. Beautiful cut. Easy to control. Good, consistent cuts. Let's try holding it this way. Great cutting edge. Very, very good. And the cucumbers taste great. And Bandit likes cucumbers. You like cucumbers, Bandit? Come here, cucumber. Yep, Bandit likes cucumbers. Okay, so that all works. Move that aside. Apple. Very clean cut. Very clean cut. A little crisp. The apple did break a little bit, and that's largely because of how super crisp this apple is. Oh, going through some seeds there. Very, very comfortable knife to use. Looks good. Works great. And yeah, these divots actually work. They help the food to let go. You see, it's just, I didn't touch it yet, and you can see, let's see if I can focus this. You can see that the apple is letting go. It's not staying stuck. Whoa. I'll show you by doing this. See? It doesn't hang on. That's to do with the bevel here and then these divots. I'll show you again. Let's try to do a longer cut. See, right away, it's pulling away. Now that's where it would be if it was stuck, but it wasn't like that. It was sitting like that. Not like that, like it often does on a lot of knives. I have to push it to do that. So there you go. That's all the cutting that I can demonstrate right now. Before I get into the dimensions, I just remembered something I wanted to talk about. Some people are asking me, is this knife dishwasher safe? Well, the short answer is yes, but the correct answer is no. Yes, you could put this in your dishwasher, but you don't want to. Okay, so let's do the dimensions and weights and everything. It's 240 grams, which is 8.5 ounces. So it's plenty light enough to use for a good period of time. The cutting edge, I measured it with my stuff, 17.8 centimeters, which is 7.006 inches. So yeah, when they say it's a 7-inch knife, it's a 7-inch knife. I won't give you a blade length because I'm not sure exactly where to measure it here. The blade thickness on the spine here, it's 2.1 millimeters on my measurements. That's 0.083 of an inch. The blade depth, and I measured right here where the logo is, it's 4.6 centimeters, 1.8 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is 0.33 of a millimeter, so a third of a millimeter, that's 0.013 inches. So then bring it very, very thin, and it slowly gets thicker until the very bottom of these dimples, and then it starts getting thicker at a little bit quicker rate until it gets up to a maximum of the 2.1 millimeters, which is a nice and thin, light piece of steel. The grind angle. The grind angle on this, they say that they're going to be between 8 and 12 degrees. So 8 and 12 degrees per side. So if the knife is like this, well, I'm not going to make a stand, but if the knife is like this, that cutting edge right there, so the grind angle is, if you put an imaginary line right down the middle, 8 to 12 degrees per side. I measured it on my sharpening system, which I can get pretty accurate measurements, 11 degrees. So perfect. It's well within that range. Now the handle length, I measured it from right about here, like where the heel comes, and I just sort of drew an imaginary line right there to the end. 11.4 centimeters, 4.5 inches. The handle thickness is 1.9 centimeters. That's 0.75 of an inch. So it is designed for adult hands. The handle depth, that's this measurement at this thickest swollen spot right here, 2.63 centimeters, just over 1 inch, 1.035. And then the grip area, so I measured it between my fingers right there. That's about 11 centimeters, 4.35 inches. And the total length of this knife is 30.7 centimeters, right around 12 inches long. Now, you do see some of these marks here, I think, maybe. And that's my own fault. We've been using this knife for about 4 months now. And I've got a magnetic block that my wife's been, and I have been storing the knife on. And I didn't think that magnetic block, on the outside of it, it's wood. And it's still been scuffing up the side of the knife, just ever so very slightly. So I'm not going to be using the magnetic block thing much anymore for these really, really nice knives. I can buff that up just on a little bit of a buffing wheel, and that'll buff out very, very well. I just have to take the time to do that. How much does this knife cost? Well, right now it is $113.91 US at the Daw Strong website. You can get it on Amazon, Amazon.ca, Amazon.com, and I'll list a number of other countries down below. It's a little less than half of their retail price. You can go right onto their own website, Dalstrong.com, and you'll see that, they're selling it for less than half of their MSRP. And it's Christmas time or whatever holiday you celebrate. Good time for gift giving. So what is this knife good for? It's for slicing, dicing, mincing, light chopping. It's great because of these divots in here. I showed you on the video how those divots help the food let go of the knife so that it's much easier to cut. You spend less time, pushing the food off your knife. If you've got a knife that you've often had to push the food off of, that gets frustrating. You don't have to do it as much with a knife that's got these kind of divots in it. It cuts wonderfully. The handle is super comfortable. The G10 is very, very durable, and it's going to look nice for many, many, many years. The understated Damascus, I really love that. The AUS 10V is a premium super steel that at this price range, it's well within what is reasonable for this steel for the cost of the knife. If you're no good at sharpening, if you just are the worst thing at sharpening knives, then the harder the steel is, the more difficult it is to sharpen. And so if you're one of those people, I suggest that you go to the Daw Strong Gladiator series of knives, because those knives are just a little bit softer. They're more like, this kind of knife. This is 14C28N, Rockwell hardness in the high 50s. And, 62 high 50s means it's just a little bit softer, but still very, very durable, very good steel. And it's just a little bit easier to sharpen as the steels get a tiny bit softer. 62 was unheard of not that many years ago. If you think I'm a shill, just spewing out stuff for a company, I can't change what you think. I just want to let you know that I have a very strong sense of integrity and honesty, and everything I have said about this knife, I stand behind completely. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum. No. Cut towards your bell peppers and your cucumbers and your tomatoes and your you know where to cut. Don't cut your thumb. Bye now.